Welcome to my atelier, welcome to my painting discourse. For those who, one, two, three, I would like to say that for those people who haven't seen my streams yet or my videos, this is a classical figurative painting. I'll be dealing today with my CNM project, which is a Constantine and Method project. Those are two very important figures of Slovakian history. So I'm going to be continue working on it. First and foremost, I want to say hi to my sister. She's currently watching, so I'm really happy to see that she is also interested in painting, even though she's very busy with her studies and work. So hi. So let's get right into it so we don't waste any time. I can see that I have to cover a little bit of my window right now because the sun is shining through and it's going to be really difficult for me to work if there is like a direct sunlight on my painting. Luckily I have multiple windows in my studio, so I can afford to cover up one of the windows. And it's interesting because it was cloudy a whole day, and right now suddenly when I want to paint, it's just, you know, it shines and then it goes away again. This is a beauty of working with natural light, that you don't know what's gonna happen. It has it could be good and it could be bad simultaneously. Depends on what is currently happening at this very moment. I like it very much because the light in the room, it's nice and consistent, but the moment when the sun gets out from the little bit of overcast, as you can see right now, it's just going to change the whole color palette for me, actually in my eyes especially. So I'm going to cover it a little bit. It's going to take me like 2 minutes to just put some blinds on, and then we can get into painting. So bear with me a second. So awesome, we are all set. I think this is going to be okay for now. So even though you might see some shifts in light, don't worry about it. That's just what it is when you work with the natural light. I'm gonna go quickly over my setup. I have my books for the references. As always, it's a Rembrandt, Velasquez, Caravaggio. I love these books. These are all presents from my family and the people that knows how much I love painting. I always have them on the side because I believe that if there is somebody who can help me answer questions about a classical figure painting, portraiture especially, that would be definitely Rembrandt. Rembrandt is my one of my favorite painters, if not the favorite. So I'm using him as a guide for my own painting. Then I also have a Caravaggio, I also have a Velázquez there. These are the books that are underneath and on the side. I also use a digital library. I have my small little display right here where I have some anatomical references that I use, especially in the previous streams. I dealt with feet, so I was working with a lot of anatomical references. It's easier for me to have it stored digitally because that's a huge pile of papers and my own drawings and my sketches and anatomical drawings, like this analysis of muscles, bones, protrusions, and tendons, and you know, all that kind of good anatomical stuff. So that's that. My palette is very simple. It's basically, you know, when you look at it, it seems little. It seems like it has a way too many colors on it, but basically it's just a limited palette that is extended for a couple of variations left and right, only because of certain earth pigments are not as strong as some new artificial colors pigments that we use. But I'm basically using titanium white and ivory black. They're opposite each other because my titanium white, it's the lightest pigment that I have on my palette, and ivory black, it's the darkest that I have. I'm pretty sure that you can mix darker than ivory black, but this is straight out of the tube, and therefore I use it for consistency, because when you do your own mixtures, it's really difficult to keep up with consistency of your pigment from mixture to mixture, which I really like when I paint. I don't like it as my starting point because then I'm not really sure about what that pigment is going to do. And they are arranged from warm to cool colors, and then warm again, because I'm kind of trying to enclose the color wheel. So I have my yellows, reds, blues, and greens right here. They're also missing purples, but I don't use purple that often, so I like to mix it my own purple, which is, I believe, the only color that and this is again, this is my preference. I'm not really a big fan of purples. I don't know why. They're beautiful pigment, beautiful colors, but somehow for my paintings it just doesn't fit. And especially when we talk about a historical painting, because when you think about purple, purple is the most expensive, the color that was reserved only for kings or queens, and especially in the religious paintings for Mother of Jesus, Mary. She usually have that, you know, purple veil, if a painter had actually money to purchase that kind of expensive pigment. You might ask, why do I have so many yellows? It's because I also add to this tonal kind of idea of the palette, the colorist ideas, and that means that I'm not only looking for the lighter or darker, I'm also thinking about cooler and warmer. And I have a cool and warm variant, and I also have a lighter and darker variant of the pigment. So basically, when you think about my palette, it's actually I would say very close to limited palette, because I have my yellows that are right here, I have my reds, and I have my greens and blues right here, and that's about it. And I have my earth tones, which are umbers, right there. But because I like to layer a paint a lot, I like to work with transparency and opacities, and I also like to work with impasto. I'm using different pigments for different applications, because as you might know, the tubes, the painted, if you buy paint already pre-mixed in tubes, they have a certain transparency or opacity levels there, and they also have another additives that they are usually they should be listed there, what other additives they use. Usually it should be, or classically it should be, just the pigment and oil or some kind of driving medium. But since this is an oil painting, I use oil, I use linseed oil. That goes same for my, that's same for my medium, which is just a mixture of oil and odorless mineral spirit or white spirit. I also have another bank right here, which is just for cleaning brushes. I use all kinds of variety of brushes. I don't use expensive brushes. I use very cheap brushes. You would say household brushes. I buy them in bulk because I use them a lot. Not because I wouldn't clean them, it's just simply because I work with the rougher surfaces and I'm applying paint with brush with all kinds of different directions. So when I'm placing my brush, it's just a movement, and it's just they're being really abused, these brushes, while I'm painting. It's not that I would abuse them by not cleaning them or not taking care of them. It's just it's the nature of painting. The brush is supposed to wear off. So I have some brushes. If you can, I don't know if you can see them. Some of them are really starting to wear off a lot. So you know, they're not that they will be dead. Some of them are really damaged already because they don't have any bristles on them anymore. So I go through them very quickly, and then I keep some of the broken brushes. I also keep all the brushes that I found in the studios after the students, because I don't like to throw brushes. Every brush has a certain usage for me, even as damaged as this one is. It still can create a certain textures that I'm looking for. That's why I very rarely throw away a brush, even though this is not even a brush. This should probably go. So yeah, that's about brushes. Then I also use palette knives, not only for mixing the colors. Sometimes I mix the colors with palette knives, but I like to really scrape. What's going on here? Okay, I like to scrape unwanted texture from impasto application of my pigments, of my paint. Yeah, that's that. I use all kinds, all kinds of size. I use different sizes for my brushes. Sometimes I use really thick, as you can see down here. But since it's most of the paint that was already laid down, I'm doing these adjustments. I don't really work with you know, brushes as big as these ones right now. Even though I might today, because I would like to do some adjustments, as I always do. So that's about my setup real quick. So let's get right into painting, so we don't waste any time. There is a, you know, I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but there is always the same information at the beginning. And these classes are not necessarily instructional videos. This is more about me trying to show what it is, how do I approach, and what it means for me painting. and it's even, you know, as I mentioned, this is a painting the scores. So I'm experimenting with my own paints, and I'm walking myself through the process by talking to a camera, and I found it challenging because I have a really hard time to think and process the information and then talk simultaneously. So the ideal way of actually enjoying these videos is just grab a piece of paper, canvas, paints, oil paints, watercolors, acrylic, whatever medium you like, even the digital, it doesn't really matter, and just, you know, start creating the awesome artwork alongside with me. That would be probably the best way that you can do, not only for yourself, but also for me as well, because that's the reason why I'm doing this, so people can paint alongside, and they can see that it's taking me so long. I have been working on this project since the beginning of the year, and I'm really struggling. I have some other projects going on simultaneously, so it's not like I'm working 24/7 on this one, but all the streams, all the videos that you saw or might be watching in the future are about this project. So this is preoccupying most of my time right now, because this is just a fragment of a larger painting that I'm working on, which you can see on above the palette. I know the camera is kind of in the way, but you know, that's not that important. It's just a sketch. So right now working on the fragment, and I'm doing this fragment. It's almost it's very close to its original, or the ideal size, but I did not have canvas big enough. I have to pre-order a special size of the canvas, but I didn't want to waste my time, so I started. So it's like a 10% smaller, but it doesn't really matter, because this is very close to where I want to be. And I think the figures are very close to actual size on the canvas, because you know, I adjusted for that, and I don't have the maybe 10 more centimeters on the bottom, as you can see from the original sketch. So canvas is a little smaller, but the figures are very close, maybe a couple millimeters, maybe centimeters smaller, but that doesn't make a difference between when we talk about the size of 2 meters. So it's not really that big of an issue. And I also be continuing working on the other separate fragments, because there's a couple figures that I want to develop before I set up the large stretcher bars and large canvas. And I'm hoping to show the process of painting the large painting as well. So hopefully I'll be ready start somewhere at the beginning of the summer. We'll see. Depends on how many other projects I will be dealing with. So yeah, so that's about what are we going to do, not only today, but you know, foreseeable future. And let's talk about the painting. There are a couple things that I have to address immediately that bothers me a lot. Again, and this is my practice. I come to studio, and sometimes I'm just looking at my painting, and I'm thinking what's wrong, what's working, what doesn't work. And Rembrandt is always here with me. There's no day without Rembrandt. He's really remarkable painter, and whenever I feel like I don't know what to do, he always helps. He always helps. For some reason, he always helps. So I have him here, and you know, when I'm when I'm alone in the studio and I'm looking at this and analyzing it, I always compare my personal notes with what Rembrandt did, and that usually helps most of the time. And if there's some topic that he did not tackle, that's why I have here Caravaggio, that's why I have here Velasquez as well, and another awesome books. So yeah, yep. And also there I have a new edition because I have some skin irritation issues lately. I have to use a glove on my left hand because, you know, prolonged holding of cloth with all kinds of solvents and turpentines and white spirits and varnishes and whatnot, just, you know, it really irritates my skin right now. So I will be using a glove while I paint on my left hand. So yeah, what bothers me right now, there are a couple adjustments that I need to do, and I always talk about the composition, so I need to do compositional adjustments. They are very subtle, and most of the time I have to put a little higher. Yeah, there are subtle mistakes that I'm doing that I'm actually not even thinking about that I'm doing, but they're there. It's just that every one of us, we have a specific bias towards something. Someone makes the heads. Someone makes heads too big. Someone makes them too small. Someone has a problem with, I don't know, with the hands, making them too short, or actually arms too short, or limbs too short. Proportions, I don't know, maybe rotations and twists of the body. Someone might have a problem with contrapposto and the shifting of weight of the figures, and I think I have all of them. And so I have to be very mindful and very careful with how I'm approaching this. But right now, my problem is not with this necessarily, because during these months of working on this, I adjust separately everything step by step. And if you check the previous videos, you will see how that painting progressed from something that was just a sketch to this stage, which it's not complete by any means. But the major things are already said. I have the movement, I have the positions, and I'm trying to adjust right now composition, and I'm trying to adjust, or not even adjust. I'm trying to improve on that composition to make it a little bit more readable, a little bit more pleasing to look at. I don't want any randomness when it comes to composition happens in the final work. Of course, I like the randomness of certain mistakes or experiments, but then I would like to incorporate them so they work as a whole, not just the separate parts. So I don't know. Let's say that I developed the foot and I like it very, very much, and I'm not going to move it. No, that everything is fluid. So I'm going to be working on these as well. They're still slightly wet, so I can do a little adjustment. The reason why I'm scraping this down is that there are certain parts that I want to have really thick and impasto, and there are parts that I want to have painted thinly. The reason being because I like that variation not only between the tone, not only with the position, not only with edges, but also with paint application. So I want most of the, or actually focal point should be them. At this particular fragment, the focal point are the portraits, and then maybe hand and book with language, or actually in this case it could be Bible as well. I still did not decide on which what would be better representation of these two. So I will definitely work on that. And there is the very famous staff with a double cross. That's just a symbol of them. I'm pretty sure that I will change certain things. Maybe position of the book a little bit, maybe position of the hand, maybe position of these two arms. But you know, those are just the final touches that I will be thinking about or working with when I see more development of other parts of painting. Because as it is right now, I can't really judge them properly. I can't really judge this hand because I don't have anything else here to judge it off of. So I might probably focus today a little bit more on this empty space right here, because compositionally I think that it's just the emptiness. And another thing, I don't really like that he seems like he just, you know, it's like a beginning of a summer, and he looks like, oh, this is like a beginning of a winter. So I might do something with the fabric a little bit, or a feel of the fabric. So maybe put the less folds in this particular area, so it doesn't look just like that heavy, and maybe slim it and trim it a little bit down. But I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how to approach this. So I'm going to do, you know, like experimentations. So that's the only thing that I can do. Maybe I could just, you know, move this in the background a little bit, so it's just so it's kind of, you know, recede back, perhaps. So, but I don't want to do any rush decisions yet, because as you might know, my previous endeavors, sometimes I do these rush decisions and then I regret them a lot. So I really have to be careful and mindful. So I'm gonna grab my charcoal. In this case, very soft wine or Velo will do. That's another thing that I use a lot. And maybe I'm going to do a little adjustment right here, which is going to suggest a slight shift in the composition, but I feel like I need to do it. And I don't want to paint it immediately into it. So since I have a background color close to my my tape, I can just tape. Oh, this is a tape. Let me just go grab a tape. I just want to get rid of this old tape because it's so I made like a little adjustment, and I want to right now think of this tape as my brush and just, you know, get rid of it, the dark value. So I use like a little, and I will reuse this tape over and over again if necessary. And I'm just going to step back because right now it's kind of going to blend with the background, and that will give me a better understanding of whether or not this adjustment would help. Maybe I could just trim it a little bit, a little more. Maybe I can trim it a little more. And the idea here is that perhaps I will not be simply, you know, erasing it or just covering it with thick paint. Maybe I will just, you know, let it recede in the background a little bit, so I get. So I create the shape that I want. I create the feeling that I want, and I keep the volume that I like as well. So I really need to think about this. And I have a mirror right back. I don't think that you can see it, but right now I'm standing and I'm looking into the mirror, and I'm checking the reflection. So it gives me that mirror image, and that always helps me with decisions. And I think this might help. But again, compositionally, I have to be very careful because I just realized, and this is the bias that I was talking about that I have. And not just me, but every one of us have a certain bias. And the biggest problem right now I can see is that I have this rhythmical problems with the rhythm in my painting. It's not the rhythm in terms of a music, but it's a rhythm in terms of like that kind of a visual rhythm. So I have one leg, second leg, then I have a third leg and a fourth leg, and I'm repeating it with these. So it looks like the space between here and here is the same as space between here and here, and the space between here and here, and the space between here and here. So it's kind of dividing my figure into equal columns, and this is like one continuous, really uninspiring, boring shape right there, and it's really annoying. And then seeing this very annoying shape right here, I kind of repeated it here, and then it was not enough for me. I'll repeat it one more time right here, and then I said myself, oh, let's do it a fourth time as well. So this is something that really drives me crazy when I'm how could I even do this? Like what was happening in my head that I did not spot it? Best helper, a mirror right there behind me. It gives me a real reflection. And then also I try to turn my painting upside down. So, you know, just to see it upside down. If there is a big painting like this is a little bit too difficult. There is a solution to it. You can use your cell phone or a small pocket mirror. And I'm using my cell phone. It's not turned on. It's just you can see how it's reflecting things. So I'm just going to look at that screen and the way it's reflecting, and I'm looking at the reflection. And right now I can see it upside down. It's like a little trick, because I was, you know, I can't really always carry a pocket mirror with me, but you know, you're allowed to enter with your cell phone almost everywhere these days. So I'm just looking at the reflection, and I can do it two ways. When I'm looking from when I'm looking like this, I can see it upside down, and then I can look at like this, and I see the reflection from left and right. So those are like little tricks that I like to use to search and look for these specific repetitions. So I think that this might work if I adjust it that way, and you can even see yourself that I didn't paint anything yet because I'm in the stage of thinking, processing information, and analyzing my own mistakes. I have to analyze my own mistakes, because if I don't do that, I'm gonna end up with a really, really premature painting that has not been thought through, that it's uninspiring, that has nothing that would drive me to look at it over and over again multiple times. So that's something that I know that even my students struggle with, that they just they have a really hard time to hear a criticism, and I have to critique myself. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody that would just come to my studio every day with me for 8 to 10 hours and tell me you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong anymore. You know, it was happening when I was at the university or the academy, but it's not happening anymore. So I have to figure something out and how to change it. So with this figure, I use this, you know, diagonal that I talked about before, and I created this kind of, you know, like the fabric, that kind of, you know, because this was like one continuous shape, and I kind of divided it into different shapes and introduced diagonal, because both of these figures are vertical and they are very symmetrical. There was kind of a boring to look at them, but the diagonal immediately creates some kind of a more interesting, more of a action when you think about it in these terms, because we have a horizontals and we have a verticals. They're very boring, and then we have a diagonals. They're kind of a, you know, it's kind of an action that's happening in painting without movement. Another thing that I just realized is that I have this pole in slight angle, and I repeated this angle, so I'm just again creating the kind of a boring boundaries and boring separations. They are, you know, creating kind of the ugly repetition. So what if would it be possible? And this is why I like a charcoal. Like, what if I do this? And the reason why I'm doing this is that I was thinking that maybe I could give him a belt. So it would slim him down a little bit. So it would make that feeling of, let me see if I add a little bit more of this tape. So I have his right here. And then again, this is really difficult to explain these decisions, but they're purely these decisions rely only on my feeling of something is wrong. Well, yeah, I think this has to go. Okay, all right, immediately. And then again, I did this adjustment, and I was looking only at this part if this works, and I did not realize that this right now it's repeating here. So I have this space right here, which is almost the same as this one, which is almost the same as this one, and then I'm gonna get here the same. So I divided this canvas into 4 equal columns. So I don't like that. So I have to really start thinking about how to create some interest there. But this might really help. This might really help. And then I would be able to create, and I would maybe could create, so since this is a belt right here, I could create, and this is purely like imagination, so you know, I could create some of this, maybe like so, and it will go all the way here. That might work. And what could I try to do is, what if I'll just make a little opening right here, just a little opening right there. So I would create it like the separation between them. Let me see if I put there, you know, some kind of a, you know, the smidge of a background. And, you know, I mean, you can paint into it. And truth to be told, before I started this painting, I would probably start painting directly into it. And then I would regret that, and then I would have to go back and repaint it over and over again. And this is probably why my painting is taking for so long, because I'm making so many mistakes, Actually, I make jokes that most of my painting is just, those are just mistakes. 95% of my paintings are mistakes. And I think this is something that I need to do, definitely. I mean, how could I have been so blind and not seeing this? And I'm sorry, the part, it's cropped and you can't really see the top. And sometimes I go out from the frame because I'm trying to go all the way back till the end of my studio, because I need to see the painting as a whole. And this is, yeah, how could I have been so blind? This is really what I needed to do. I'm going to do a double check with my mirror if it works in the mirror as well. And I think it does. And this would probably, and it's probably going to help also, that what I'm thinking right now, that perhaps, and I already painted these these feet so many times, and you saw a couple previous videos, you can tell that I've been obsessing here a lot because I couldn't find the right position. And the reason is because I was trying to fit these feet, yes, that's probably correct English, I hope so. I was trying to fit these feet into the original shape, and it didn't work. And again, maybe the change of the shape. So I'm going to just trace it like so. And perhaps this was the problem. And what about making it like this, like so? Or making it like so? No, that's not that way. Well, what I wanted to say is that I see this figure as a main, not the main figure, but as a like the main vertical that I have here, and then I created a diagonal to give him a little bit more of that activity. Like it seems like it's you know, it's these diagonals, like I said, they're giving the action. That's like a, you know, like a motion, or, you know, a little bit more of a like a direction. And in this figure, because I need also a harmony in here. I really do need harmony here. And I'm feeling that my canvas is, yeah, it's loosened a little bit, so I have to correct it. But what I wanted to say is that if, and I don't know if this is going to be able to see, maybe it will. So I have one figure that it's, you know, straight up and down and has diagonal in it. So no, you can't see it. Never mind. I have one figure. It's like a main column. Imagine a column. So it's like a strong. It's like the you know. It's like the holding it together. Another figure is actually leaning or asking for help because the journey is so difficult. So perhaps instead of creating some kind of another diagonal that would help it, I put the whole figure into diagonal, and maybe I could push these feet a little bit more this way. So I create a diagonal with his body, and then the drapes can go directly straight down. So I would create a harmony in these two figures by repeating the same motif, but different ways. So that could be helpful as well. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. And you know what? I said previously that, and I'm just tracing this so I can see. And I know that I said that multiple times about the composition, and most of you are probably tired of this. Well, I promise that I'll repurpose these. Well, I won't. And here's the thing, I'm going to make this major decision, but it's not going to destroy my composition, it's supposed to improve it. And in order for me to really see the improvement, I just have to paint it in. No matter how many tape I'll put there, I can even sculpt the tape exactly as I want the shape, but I don't think it's going to help. So let's just mix some colors. Now this is probably a good time to, I said that I'm not going to use these big brushes, but I will. But let me just mix a little bit of that background. That was way too much yellow. So I'm going to scrape it away. I'm just trying to hit the, you know, a tone. I don't really have a problem with the color of that background. This might be a little too green. But since it's a little too green than I want, and I want to have it neutral, I'm going to introduce a little bit of red into it. Just to neutralize that greenness into it, which is already in it actually. So that should give me like a neutral color, like very close to what I desire. Nice. So I'm somewhere around here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of solvent, and I'm just going to do a major. And I have to be mindful, because if I don't like it, I might go right back into it and start painting and repainting it again. So I'm looking into my mirror. Now it's going to work. It will work. I'm pretty sure it will work. And like I said, if it's not going to work, I'm not going to get angry this time. Why? Because I can paint it back. Let me introduce a little bit of a darker value. I'm doing a darker value, but maybe not only darker value, but also I will shift the temperature a little bit. And this is also the reason why I don't really pre-mix my colors. I started with a color. Ooh, this was a mistake. And you can see on my palette right now that maybe you can see it. What's the difference between earth colors and then when you introduce cadmiums, which are synthetic. No, it's not synthetic, but we have a synthetic colors that can be really potent, like phthalo green or phthalo blue. Okay, so I adjusted this part, and I think that was the right move. No, definitely, it was definitely a right move. 100%, 100% a right move. So what I did right now, I created a better shape, better outside shape. Well, let's introduce a little bit more of the red, because as Bob Ross said, why not? I don't know, guys, do you watch Bob Ross? I hope you do. Let me adjust this a little bit. I'm thinking, what if I'm just trying to figure it out how to, the diagonal, it's really, maybe if I just, what if I just wipe a little bit away? So it kind of mimics this diagonal right here, so I kind of connect these two together. not necessarily with line, but maybe only with just kind of a, with that flick, with that flow. That might work. Let's, yeah, let's play with that a little bit. And I need a little bit more of that warmish color there. And you can hear me talking about warm and cool and all the time, and it's because this might be a little too much. It's because I think it's very important to understand pigments and understand the variation between warm and cool, and how important that is for a painter. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I saw it in Rembrandt's work. He also varies warm and cool, and I don't know why is it that he was thinking about like that. He was thinking about these impressionistic colorist ideas, that he has the same value but a different temperature, and he kind of add another layer of depth of his paintings with this idea. And I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush, and I want to see what will happen if I introduce a little sliver of light right here. So the reason why I want to do that is because I want to disconnect that figures somewhere, or in because I have, if you look like all the way from top of the shoulder right here, all this line till right here, it's connected, and it kind of bothers me because it's I'm looking right here with my eye, and I will skip all of this and go immediately right here, because I have a big shift in between value. This is a big contrast right here, and there is a big contrast right here. So my brain automatically encloses this as one shape, and I wanna force my brain to work a little bit harder. Not just, oh, shape right there, thank you, bye. So maybe I will hit it this little darker. Try these two colors. This might work. Let me see. This is very close to color of the garment. So let's connect this together. And again, here I'm going to be with this. This is right now way too light. I'm going to be thinking about this as that. This is why I believe that there's very important for us, and by us I mean for people that paint or they're interested in painting, to go paint outside, because I used to paint with. I was forced to paint outside. It's so mean to say that I was forced to paint. I have a really good friend, and he loves to paint outside, and we have such a good time hanging out together that one day he told me that, you know what, why wouldn't you hang out with me and paint simultaneously? And miss him very, very much because we're living with different countries right now. And he forced me to paint outside landscapes. And I really, really hated to do that before. And I had so much fun. And it was so amazing and refreshing to paint quickly and more like impressionistic ideas rather than this classical romanticism that I'm trying to do right here. It was so refreshing. I was so happy to do that. Why am I saying this? Because this is one of the ideas, or this part is one of the ideas that we discussed with him. That was, that was a painting discourse before I was actually recording it all the time, and we were talking about these spaces between the leaves and these gaps that you have in the trees where you can see stuff behind the tree. And I remember I was pressing it so hard. It was such a big contrast in those leaves that it took away from the whole composition, and the contrast was so overpowering that it happened to be the focal point of the painting, and I struggled with it. And then he told me that you have to drop the value considerably. Our eye is really, really, really awesome device. We're going to pick up on every little piece of value shift. You don't need to push it so hard. Make it less, and it's going to be more, trust me. And he was absolutely right. I just, I leave it. I put the values a little closer to each other, and it was like a miracle. Suddenly, everything clicked, and there was no more problem with where's the focal point. I have to do the same thing, or I'd like to do the same thing right here. So I will be working with the value that is slightly darker than on this side, only because I don't want this to be a focal point. Plus, I think that again I made the common mistake that that I do, and that's that I put it exactly in the center of the canvas. So when you think about the center of the canvas, it's always going to be a focal point, no matter what. If there is a white canvas, and we talk about like the diagonals that go from this corner to that corner, and diagonal that goes directly to the opposite, the cross section is going to be somewhere around here. And if I would put the really light spot right there, no matter how good the portraits are painted, everybody would look into that middle immediately. That's just the nature of it's just the nature of composition. Don't ask me why is it that way, but it is. For some reason, our brains, they love symmetry. And I think that a lot of that symmetry has something to do with our brain trying to simplify. Our brains are really trying to simplify the complex images. So they can't be like, in full focus all the time. But I still need to make it a little bit more pronounced. just going to play a little bit with that gap right there. So I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be overpowering. And right now it's overpowering. So what am I going to do? I like it. I like to have it lighter. So what I'm going to do, instead of making a hard edge on both sides, I'm going to make soft edges there. Other thing that taught me Rembrandt, edges. Look at Rembrandt's edges. Speaking about theories and teaching and learning, painting with fingers is so good. I love it. If you never tried to paint with fingers, do it. It's awesome. You will be surprised. I want a little bit more, maybe. Of this right here. Oh, wow, definitely. That was a right call. It was definitely a right call. And this is something, and this is another thing, not something. I'm using this is something probably way too often without even noticing it. This is another thing that that is important to understand why painting from still images like photographs might be let me just maybe a little bit of this. Why painting from photographs might be I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the color and the temperature. Let's introduce a little bit more of the what was I talking about? Oh, about photographs. So imagine that I have a model here. I photographed him. I put him into that position that I wanted to. And right now I'm copying that photographs because I can copying that particular or that specific photograph because I cannot offer to have that model here every day all the time. And what would I end up with is just a boring shape that I would try to make it more interesting with more definition, with more accuracy in terms of kind of that photographic I'm sorry, I have to. This is taking all of my processing power in my brain, so I'm sorry. Let me finish this. I will shut up for a second. You paint your painting alongside with me. So I'm going to exaggerate it right now. And maybe this needs to go a little bit more out. Right here. So I will create this and that. And then what I don't like is that, so it's going to go here. There's going to be this. It needs to go here. Because I'm going to have that belt right here. Somewhere like this. And perhaps I can go with this over. It's covering it. So I will create a little bit, again, a little bit more of a I think this might work. But again, right now, what I don't like is that I have a, let me just measure it. Well, it's very close. What to do, what to do. What to do and how to handle it. Oh, I'm way happier with this. Maybe like so. Yes, that would be the answer. Let me get a little bit of this. And I'm also working in Pasto right now. I'm not working in Pasto, and the reason being is that, okay, it needs to go a little right there. Because these are, for me, these are right now just the shape adjustments. And I'm not sure if I am happy with them. And if I'm not happy with them, I want to change them. And I could maybe connect it with a lighter value to break that. I have to adjust my canvas. Well, I think this might work. I just have to figure out how to make this. This is too sharp. So maybe I'll just hit it like this. Because it's behind. So soft edge. Not that much of a contrast. Cool. And then maybe I could do maybe I could do a little shadow that's going to be right here. So there's going to be shadow right there. And what I don't like is that I have this bulge right here going outside and this one's going inside here. It's again that symmetry that bothers me. What if I'll just maybe not sure. Most likely, the answer is going to be right here. This needs to be darker, so it goes forward. There is a more contrast right there. Yep. And then this needs to be like, it's going this way, and this way, and here. So So probably this needs to go darker, yeah, so I can create that separation between them. And if this is warm, this has to be cool, but this is also cool, so this has to be a little warmer. So I have to put a little bit more. And right now I repeated the same. Okay, so this cannot go there. Because again, I did this part up, this part up. that's the repetition that I want to really, really, really avoid. So maybe this go like this underneath. I'll just get rid of this a little bit. But then again, I'm copying this and that. So a little more here. Let's do a little bit of that shadow. Let's make it a little, first a little warmer. Underneath right here and then maybe here. Okay, and let's make it thinner. It feels like it's way too aggressive right now, unnecessarily aggressive. What if I just do this? So let's go here. And what if I would just take a little bit and I change the idea and I really go this way and push that. And push that. No, because then he does not have enough space for the leg. I was just, So what's the... So maybe I could introduce a little bit of soft brush. this. Okay. Okay. I was looking for a brush. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll introduce a little bit more of a warmth to it. Mhm. I think we're getting there slowly but surely. And I could actually do this like so. Hmm. Hmm. Trim it a little bit to push it that direction even more, so we have that leaning angle. Let's see what's gonna happen. I think this might work. Yeah. They're starting to work together way better right now. And I remember what I said about overpowering. Not overpowering things, but we need to have a little bit of more clarity here. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of an edge. Okay. We'll go more here. I have to make his ankle thinner right now. Way better. So I'm gonna have a soft edge right here, but I still want to have a little bit of. Okay. Work it in. Just a little adjustment. Nice. Little here and there. And then maybe I should put a little bit more vibrancy right here. Let me see if that's what this is asking for compositionally. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit more vibrant. And then I need to connect this better. So we actually just a tad of this with more of the white. A little cooler variant. Cooler, warmer. Darker, lighter, darker. Yes, okay, it's working, it's starting to work. A little bit of a softer transition right here. And I need to do a softer transition right here as well. So I am working on the background after all, finally. Okay, and maybe make it a little lighter right here in this area. Because I think that my sketch allows that. And I'm not scraping the color right now away, I'm just smoothing it out, just like or spreading it around. And I'm really worried about my canvas just falling down because it's just bouncing back and forth. I have to hook it up a little better. Okay, I think this is actually pretty good, considering to give it a little bit more of a texture, because this is something that is helping. Yep. Then maybe I should use go right here like this. Perhaps. Get a little darker value, so I will push it forward with the contrast, a little warmer. Mm-hmm. This needs to go. Darker, because it's underneath the cloth, and this one is forward. Okay, yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think I could make that. Make it a little bit more. Tiny bit. Let me see. Because it looked like it's a little too thin. not, it's okay, what the thickness, but I made it thin all the way up towards the fabric. And what happened is that I need to have it thin only right here. It's like that's the thinnest point of the leg. And I should make it a little bit more pronounced. So, a little bit more contrast needs to be added right here. I need more of the shadow right here. And then soft edge. Okay, seems like this might work. Cool. So this might be a little too dark right now, but it doesn't really matter because, well, actually it matters. It's way too dark. Let me just lighten it up a little bit. Because perhaps okay, a bit of this. Cool. Right now we're hitting the right. Okay, because that's where the shadow is. So we have quite a shadow there. And it might seem at this point a little too dark, and it's only because I'm going to change the background. I want to make a background a little darker, so I'm hoping that I'm judging these values right. And if not, I will have to repaint it, but I would like to hit it a little bit more. Coolish greenish, because there's going to be a lot of reflected light from the ground, and I want to put a little bit more greenery down there. So even though I know that it's outside and the shadows should be cool, and light should be warm in this case, because it's outside, I also want to play a little bit with the reflection of a green warmish light from the grass. Maybe I could put him a little pouch there, so that might separate it a little better. That could work. Yeah, I think this is going to be it for today, because I have to really figure it out what's going to be the next step for me to work with. But this was one of those days when, you know, again, it happens to me probably once a week that I make such a radical decision. And these radical decisions are actually the result of coming to studio every day, every morning, looking at the painting, thinking about it. I actually have right across on the other side, I have my little stool where I sit, and I have my books next to it, and I'm looking at my painting and analyzing it left and right for at least 15, 20, half an hour, 2 hours. It doesn't matter how long are you going to analyze it. I remember one of my one of the influential masters from my academy. He said something very interesting, and I did not understand what it means, to one of my classmates, and he said that why didn't you paint with your eyes a little bit? And I did not understand what he meant, and basically what he was trying to say, what I think that he was trying to say, was how many, it's like 5 years. It was 5 years ago, I guess. It's a long, long time. And he said that the phrase that, why don't you paint with your eyes a little bit? And what he meant is just calm down, stop putting more and more information there, and think about what you're going to do, what is going to be your next move. And try to imagine another step, another result, maybe even 2 or 3 steps ahead, or maybe 15 steps ahead, if you are capable of doing it. And then make a mental note, and then go step by step towards that goal that you set up. And I know that I was looking at this and it was bothering me. I didn't like the shape, and I have to take a picture of it right now after I change the shapes. So I have also my mental memory, but I will also have a digital copy of that. And if I don't like something, I can always use like a Control Z, like undo button, and I can paint on top of already painted painting, and I can change these things over and over and over again. So yeah, this was a interesting exploration for me as well, and this is the part of that painting discourse that you have with yourself on a daily basis, or as frequently as possible. So thank you for watching, thank you for caring, and I'll see you later. Bye.